Hey, what's going on, everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Um, figured to jump right back into the therapy session aspect of the game since it made me feel a lot better 2 days ago. Still have not picked up the car because they haven't told me that, excuse me, it has arrived at the place yet. So it's expected to be there to yesterday. Um, and it was a situation where I received a random call at 3 o'clock that may have been them telling me the car was at the lot, but at that time I wouldn't have been able to pick it up due to my specific circumstances. I didn't have the money to pick it up. So hey, if they called, whatever, they can call back again today. We'll pick it up today, if that's the case. But yeah, so that's what's going on. I'm just waiting for the call to tell me what to do, and then from there I can set the appointment to go pick it up, which means depending on how late those calls will come, that'll determine whether I'll be in the same position I was yesterday financially, to go get it done. Because basically the money's in a place where, the markets have to be open in order for me to get to it. And I'm not going to be selling anything at all, especially since AMC is recovering very nicely, by the way. And so it's like I got a couple shares in there. That's the money I'd be using to get where I need to go to pay whatever I need to pay. And after that, the money's gone. So I figured, hey, since it's recovering, don't touch it until you absolutely need it. And let the pieces fall where they may. So it's only $120 right now. That's not a lot of money, but that'll be enough for me to do what I need to do to get the car out, and that's it. After that, I don't know. Waiting on unemployment also to set up that appointment, phone call, whatever they're gonna do. Send the information, let me know what's going on. I obviously have no control over their situation there, so I'm just kind of stuck, man. I'm in a bad spot financially. I mean, yeah, do I have money credit to my name? Of course. Can I touch any of that money? No. I probably am not going to be able to have access to it, even if I were to choose to, because of how long it would take for that money to get to where it needs to go for me to touch it. So it's as broke as I've been in years, but it's the choice I've made to be in this position and whatever. So you just live with the stress of it, and you appreciate that it's your fault. You're not blaming nobody else. You're not confused about how to fix it. You just have to start that process and keep it going now. So that's what I'm doing. I'm working myself into an equation into a mindset rather, where I'm just trying to heal myself of anxiety, social anxiety, just uncertainty, anxiety. I think those are the type of things that I'm dealing with right now. And 2 days ago when I did this the video therapy session 10, I woke up feeling extremely anxious, extremely uncomfortable, fearful, irrationally fearful about the task at hand. And I came up here, talked about it, felt a little better, as I said. So yesterday was a good day. I knew for a fact that, after a certain point in the day, it became clear that I wasn't going to have to do what needed to be done. So I became very relaxed. Started doing the things that I love to do, made another playlist. I've been on a roll lately with that. So, felt really good about how the day went yesterday, and was very thankful that my anxiety both days, even though it wasn't as bad yesterday morning, was proven to be false, useless, misdirection, all of that, as it usually is. And one thing I have to, say to myself is the anxiety never matches the circumstances. It's always magnified and exaggerated. So I have yet to see it match. But nevertheless, this morning I woke up 4 in the morning feeling the same anxiety that I felt 2 mornings ago. Bubble, stomach, it was bad. It was like 4 in the morning. I was like, man, I just really don't have a clue of how to fix my situation in the very short term. Start feeling anxious about stuff like my weed habit. How am I going to pay for my weed? I think about my peace and how much I rely upon it to keep me out of manic spaces mentally. And just knowing that I don't actually have the cash to grab it without doing something that I really, really don't want to do financially for myself, which is to start the process of chipping away more shares from my account that I haven't touched. So it's like, the world is closing in on me as it pertains to the way that I like to live. It's just not designed for people to be able to do this, cut and dry. And I respect that, I think it's important that I mention to everyone that, when you're raising children, you have to give them tasks that make them independent. Give them every opportunity to feel like they can be solutions to whatever a problem is. Yes, you have to show them how to do it, make sure they do it properly, but don't remove the responsibility to the child, for whatever it is that they need to be doing. Give them those responsibilities. Let them achieve success in those actions, and that courage will carry them forward. Because when you keep those responsibilities from them, you hide certain pressures from them, or kind of like just allow them to be a kid only, as opposed to letting some balance come in as it pertains to real world things. And you find a good, healthy way to allow your child both. And I think that's the way to go, because I wasn't given enough of both. My mom allowed me far too much relaxation time, far too much rewards for being for lacking production, even though she was dealing with a child that was obviously very sensitive of the mind. So I understand that she had to treat me a certain way to keep me functioning properly. But even so, there should have been goals that were set for me to reach, milestones for me to reach in order for me to receive certain things. Even if she intended to give me those things anyway, after all, that I needed to be challenged in some ways that I wasn't. And because of it, I think now I'm struggling with certain very simple things. And it's like, I don't blame my mother. She did the best she could. I'm certainly not a better parent. I don't have any kids. But what I'm saying is, I know where I struggle internally. It's with things that I probably should not have had to even work into my equation as a grown person. These are things that has to be instilled in the child early. So she instilled a lot of great things in me. I'm not taking nothing away from her parenting. I just know that from where I am, what I needed, I just needed something a little different in a specific area, which is not to be rewarded for not doing anything, not to be able to slide in life with her on her dime only. I should have been forced to do certain things, little things, even like, you can't play video games till you take out the trash, or if you didn't get a certain grade in your homework, you're only gonna be playing for 35 minutes on a video game, as opposed to just letting me freely do it. Because what it did is create the habits of weakness in my own self and my mind. And I'm saying this because I don't think enough people really try to challenge, not challenge, ain't the word, but really try to dig deep inside of where their upbringing went wrong, to try to correct themselves in the midst of these type of crises. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to change my habits, because the root of my problem truly is the stress that I feel for pushing myself toward going back out there working. And what I'm saying I lacked was work ethic as a child. If I had the work ethic that I could respect from the time that I was a child up until this point, even though I feel these anxieties and all these other things, I would be so conditioned to be a part of what I'm foreign to. You know what I mean? In terms of like being social, being out there dealing with certain types of pressures professionally, putting forth a better professional, I guess, face, so to speak. I would be a better professional if I were in those situations more consistently, like normal people. But I was able to effectively skate in life, in my upbringing, and because of it, I don't have a large threshold for certain situations as it pertains to stuff that makes me feel uncomfortable, certain aspects of people telling me to do stuff I don't want to do, taking certain aspects of being professional seriously, because to a point I didn't. Do you see what I'm saying? Not to say that I don't see the fruit in doing so. I'm saying that I didn't. Every job I ever had, it was either I'm happy here and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, or I'm unhappy here and I'm not. And it was like, if you're a child and you know the importance of hard work, you know the discipline, you have a healthy respect for the consequences of not working, then you're not going to approach those situations the way I did. You're not gonna be as entitled to feeling as if you're supposed to be relaxing, like I found myself being as a grown-up. It's like I must relax. Like, no, you must live. And so I struggle with these things because they weren't instilled in me the way that I know that they should be instilled in a boy. So, it is what it is. You speak of having broken households, right? and I come from a single parent household. You could say, you know, you need your daddy there to kind of offset what your mama couldn't give you. You only have what you have, man. And my mom did a wonderful job of raising me. I was just a unique mind, and I needed a lot of things that she didn't know how to give me, and it's okay, you know. This thing don't come with a manual, but at the same time, it don't mean I didn't need those things. And so now I gotta sort through all of my old childish ways, even at this age, to try to find some production in myself, you know. I'm not giving myself no excuses for those choices, but that I made those choices came from somewhere, and I know where it comes from. You know, and so fighting that ego. Somebody said online, it really stuck with me today. Just read it about 10 minutes ago. She said, your ego is the final boss. Beat that shit. You know, like literally, that's what it said. Beat it. And that's what it is. You know, part of it is the ego, part of it is conditioning, part of it's what you used to, part of it what you feel like you deserve. Used to putting out a certain energy and getting back all that you need, as opposed to putting out the requisite amount of effort and intensity and energy to get back what it is you're supposed to get. And you just keep, you know, expect the life to give you something. You expect the world to give you what you're supposed to have, as opposed to your efforts being all that's going to help you get what you're supposed to receive. And, you know, that conditioning, I fight with that conditioning. You know, I fight with that. You know, I didn't have to grow up doing a whole lot. I mean, my mom would speak on the fact that I would not do things. She would say, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. But it wasn't actually tasked upon me to do those things a lot of the time, you know. And so, God bless my mom. She was doing the best she can, but I struggled so much, man. I needed so many punches in the chest that just did not come my way. And so, now that I've gotten older, I'm fighting my own weaknesses, fighting all that crap. I'm a grown man. It's my own business to change my ways and not blame my mom, who's no longer with me. It's one of those situations where it's like, you know, how do I fix myself? How do I not let my life go by the wayside completely while I struggle internally with stuff that otherwise should not even be struggled with? And the answer is, I guess I turn on this camera and talk about it, you know? I mean, you know, that's the truth. I don't know how. I think that's why it's so important that I use myself in this camera as a cautionary tale for parents who are raising children who have sensitive minds and are letting them slide because they don't know how to handle them. Letting them slide in their grades, letting them slide in lacking in production but still getting rewards, and ultimately just trying to provide them a happy household, or provide yourself a happy household without having to deal with a complaining child who's spoiled. And I think that's what I was, a complaining child who was pretty spoiled, man. And you know, it's just it hurts the person as they grow. When you live that way, you grow that way, you condition that way, and then you face the real world. You get your butt kicked. So that's it, man. But you know, I move forward. I think that at the end of the day, you see that I'm trying to address the issues, if nothing else, verbally. I acknowledge that I've done damage, independent of anybody, including my mom, to myself. And you know, at the end of the day, I like who I'm becoming. You know, and I know that sounds strange listening to what I just said, but I think that's the point. Like being able to still stand, being able to say, you know, I have all these weaknesses, but I'm not giving them no pass in terms of not admitting them or not addressing them or not, you know, trying in the best way I know how to fix it. And you know, as anxiety continues to come about because of these weaknesses, I continue to bring forth prayer and continue to be honest to you guys, continue to be deliberate in doing things that are helpful to myself in terms of staying close to the music, staying close to talking about basketball, staying within this what feels right to me, and just let it carry me forward. So that's what I want to say, man. Thank y'all for checking out this therapy video. Just really wanted to run my mouth. I felt like talking these last couple of days, more so than usual. And I just really appreciate that I have an audience, however many it is, that'll check me out and just follow what I got going on and hopefully watch the growth or the downfall of my life. Because at the end of the day, man, I have no idea where this is going. You know, unfortunately, I'm not wired to be the type of person that has a plan. I'm a reactionary person. Oh, something's going on. All right, let me do this. Oh, something's going on. Let me feel that. But as far as me, like, all right, it's 10-year plan. This is what we're doing. This is the structure. And my stress indicators tend to not allow me to really see those plans through or even formulate those plans. I think I don't know if I've said this in any of my therapy videos, but I think it's probably important to mention that I think what I do, and I've never really had a whole understanding about this, still trying to search this part out, but I think what I do is initiate my own failure. I think I force myself into failure for fear of disappointment with lost effort. I think somewhere along the line when I was a young person, somewhere, one of those instances in my life, I put forth a lot of intent and effort and poured my whole all into something and probably just didn't get the result. You know what I mean? And I think that started an avalanche for me of being fearful of putting my all into something, or being fearful of trying so hard and being let down or failing. So rather than to strive to win, I more so would strive to accept failure and strive to initiate the control of those circumstances, which would in turn be, in result, failure. You know, I strive for so much control, striving to grasp whatever the feeling is, striving so hard to cope with the challenge of the stresses. Even if those stresses seem minuscule, in this head, they're massive because of the creativity of this artistic mind. So it gets to a point where it's like, oh, it's an avalanche? No, it's actually a comet like and is headed for us. So it's just like an exaggeration, you know, and a heavy exaggeration in my mind. And yeah, so I think initiating my own failure kind of allows me to be at peace with the finality of the situation. Like, we lost. Yeah, no, it didn't catch me off guard. It's that kind of thing. It's like, we didn't win. Yeah, I know, but I feel better because I walked away from something on my own terms, or I destroyed it. You know what I mean? It didn't beat me. I broke it. It's like that kind of mentality. And so as I've grown with that mentality and have had it kick my behind in so many different ways, now that's like, whoa, that's a big one for me. If I can find a way to untangle that particular knot, I think it'll open up a myriad of opportunities for myself, and which I in turn will turn into opportunities for others. I hope, if I, given that my heart will stay in place and being the person I believe myself to be, I want to help others when I get to a point where I can do so. So yeah, I gotta help myself first, but that's the big one right there. How do I attack that aspect of my brain to say, yo, give it your all. Let the failure be the failure, but do not initiate failure. Do not force yourself into quitting a situation so that you have control over it. Better to try and fail and then learn from the mistake of trying it the right way so that you can give yourself a better opportunity to be good at what it is you're doing, rather than working so very hard at controlling the circumstance that you never actually get good at what you're doing. So that was my demon. Still, to a point, in some ways, is a demon of mine. I don't think it's as deliberate as it used to be, but I still work it in ways that ultimately are like success avoids me. It's like with my trading. I think that's where I see it the most. Is emotional trading. That's where it really kicks my butt in my finances. So yeah, man, it used to be in the video games. You know, I used to be the rage quitter, never finish a single game because I'm losing, horrible sportsmanship. Now it's turned into me not being able to effectively wait certain things out. You know, let the success come. If it hasn't come yet, let it take its time to come, because usually when you don't, you jump out of a position and then it goes up, and that's exactly what I've been running into with my crypto a lot of the time. So yeah, man, that's a big one. So thanks you guys. Therapy session always make me feel better. I think, what is this, 11th one? I want to say 11. So yeah, I'm gonna give it another go probably very soon. Like I said, when I get the car back, hopefully that'll be in the next 24 hours. We can discuss how I got it back and what else there is to discuss there. Yeah, man, my anxiety though, bro, that's just the only thing about it. As comfortable as I may appear on this thing, it's really uncomfortable standing in this moment right now. It's just an anxiety thing, you know. It's just knowing that you have a lot of uncertainty, knowing that you have a lot that you have working against you internally. You got to take that out into that open air around others and try to act as if either you're okay or normal or like you haven't been alone for the last 2 days, 2 months or whatever, how long it's been for me. It's like when you spend that much time isolated, you start wondering how awkward you actually are. You know what I mean? How crazy are you going to appear to the people that you're going to be around? That's the type of anxiety I'm having right now. It's like, you know, can I be normal in the presence of others having been this isolated? So never let that happen to yourself. That's the cautionary tale. Take this from me as someone who's lived this many times and is very comfortable being alone. It's bad for the brain, man. It's bad for the brain. So I'll leave it at that. My name is BDF 44. Thank y'all for rocking with me. I'm out.